Okay. Hi, everyone. So I'm on vacation right now, but I had some time where I'd be able to make a video. So I thought I would talk about the the hate of the game from the community. And that's mainly because of Rec Room announcing the new AMA that's coming up. Um, so they told you to ask questions on the Reddit, and the questions are pretty interesting to say the least. So let's zoom in a bit here so you guys could see because obviously it's a bit hard to see. So pretty much they just want people to ask questions and people are very unhappy, obviously. The first one is the barrier to entry on purchasing items for full body avatars is really high as it stands. Most pants and shoes that are being sold are at least starting at 3 to 6K tokens or more. And it's honestly not easy playing $10. I think they meant to say playing. It's not easy paying $10 for one pair of pants, even as someone that regularly funds the game. Will we be seeing a drop of prices anytime soon to accommodate for players that can't regularly afford high price items? Not just free to play players, but the but paying players too. A lot of shops that have been added lately have items that can add up to anywhere from $90 to $350 in items within one shop. So this question is obviously a very good one, but I think the problem with these AMA questions is Rec Room is going to have a hard time trying to actually go through these because these questions are really jabbing at the bad choices they made recently, mainly with pricing, mainly with not listening to the community, removing features that people enjoyed using in the game, like removing weeklies, double shot, adding full body avatars that are really buggy, not bug fixing the game, performance problems, and so on. There's so many problems, but um, this one will be interesting to see if any of them actually answer it. This one is Rec Room community has been eagerly anticipating a new quest. Could you please share if there are any plans for a new quest anytime soon? If so, can you provide any details or teasers about what we can expect? Now, I think they're gonna say that they're not doing a quest because they've already talked about it, and that's because every new map is gonna be with Rec Room Studio, and it's gonna be about making stuff that creators can use. And unfortunately, they said that they don't really have any interest in doing quests. So they're probably going to tell them no. So, are there any plans to start taking creator moderation more seriously? There are many creators who steal rooms, copy maps, and make inappropriate content for juniors, and almost all of them seem to go unpunished. Now, I recommend watching Skull's video on this because there are a lot of disturbing, terrible junior accounts. There are other people who made videos, but Skull did a really good video that I saw talking about this, and it's a big problem that Rec Room needs to step into because if they're going to allow people to create maps, especially for junior accounts, they have to not be bad. Like they have to be good. They can't just be cash money, cash grabbing maps that are targeted towards children to kind of abuse them in a way. It's not cool, and they need to focus on that. They might answer this one for sure. Um, why do developers at RR keep pushing through the updates that most people have bad reactions to? Do they really take the community opinions into consideration? Also, how do you see Rec Room's performance for the amount of users that have a positive view of the game in 2 to 3 years? Lastly, what is your opinion on the current state of the game and community? This will be an interesting question if they do decide to answer it. Again, I feel like they're going to skip on a lot of these because I would say there's a lot of anger that comes from these questions, but it is well deserved. I think Rec Room needs to step up and talk to the community more about what their plans are and what they're focusing on because none of us understand what they're doing. And this shows because they're asking why they just put updates that a lot of people don't care about. No one really wanted full body avatars, but they put it in anyways. People who ask for features for full body avatars, we don't even know if we're getting those features or when. Apparently, in that whole website, they showed like all these features that they have planned, and we don't even know how many years out that is. not to mention the fact that we still have ridiculously crazy bugs with full body that make it just not worth using because Bean just looks so much objectively better. Now, people do use full body, and there are some good outfits, but most of full body is so janky that it's just not worth it. Especially with the more hitboxes, it just makes playing games not that great. Also, I think Rec Room doesn't listen to our outrage very well. They removed double shot and they don't care about adding it back, but we got a glitch that has it back, but they probably don't even know that. They probably don't even care. Okay, we should see some actual good FPS optimization. More graphic settings than just three presets that barely make a bit of a difference. Really weird to have high frames in other Unreal Engine 5 VR games, then to need a high-end PC to be able to have stable frames in Rec Room. This is a big problem I might make a video talking about, but the performance in Rec Room is so ridiculous. Like, it is actually ridiculous how terribly the game runs. Like, the watch, when I talked in a video recently, the watch UI, the 2D UI, has made the performance. They made it better over the last few years, but that doesn't excuse the fact that it's still miserable. Skull today actually made a video just talking about how on PC VR, his home UI literally lags his game so hard that it's like unplayable. Like it's unable to even like load the watch and scroll through it. So like why why is that stuff happening now? And it just shows that the 2D UI still performs so terribly. Like it always makes me wonder, why do we need 2D UI? Why didn't we stay with 3D? 3D always ran well. And also Rec Room has just performed terribly as a whole. Rec Royale still performs so bad on PC. Streamer cam is so miserable. It's not even like worth using unless you need a better camera angle because it runs like garbage. It runs so bad. And I know people like both have been complaining about it, but obviously, I guess Rec Room just doesn't care about streamer cam performance because it's only on PC VR. And it's probably a 0.8% chance of people only playing on PC VR. So it's like it's not even mattering. Will there ever be plans to give old ROs content updates? Could it be really beneficial to ones that are dying? I would always love to see the day that ROs actually get content updates to bring new maps, to bring new stuff to it. But unfortunately, Rec Room has always talked about how they're not focused on old stuff. They focus on pushing forward. And that's why Dodgeball is always broken. That's why Isle's explosive thing's broken. That's why Crescendo's explosive thing's broken. That's why all these old ROs glitch so much and it takes forever for them to fix it. Because they don't care about that old stuff. They care about the new stuff. They care about the creators. They don't really care about ROs or the actual community. Also, remember when Rec Rally would be getting more tracks? It's almost 3 years. Yeah, crazy. All right. Yeah. When are we in dark mode? Probably never. Will there be any updates or optimization to get Rec Room running better on Quest 3? Also, is Crescendo able to run on the Quest 3? So, Star Centurion one time in a Reddit post did talk about how the Quest 3 could totally get an update to optimize it more and make it better running on Quest 3. And Crescendo could totally run on Quest 3. But it's not really a if, it's more of a when. Because they could do it, but do they feel like it? Not really. Probably because it's not financially worth it for them to do that for the 10 people who are probably on a Quest 3. I don't know. What led you all to the transition from the greatly loved VR game in 2018 to making so many bad decisions that receive backlash for and do nothing about, even though you say you'll listen to the community? That's true. Rec Room has said plenty of times that they'll listen to the community, and for the last I would say 2 years, maybe 1.5 years. They have gone like so deep in their dark hole where they've been just kind of hiding and not really caring about the community at all. We've got like no conversations from them. They stopped doing AMAs. They stopped doing a lot of things on their YouTube because their YouTube comments are usually full of people yelling at them to do stuff and they don't respond. So they're just blocking out the community. Why do you say that only a small percentage of people do weeklies when you guys clearly made them come out every month and no chance to make them better? You guys clearly stated that this wasn't going to be a permanent thing, but yeah, here we are. That's true. Rec Room said that the weeklies were not going to be permanently a monthly and would return when they had it figured out and when they had a good way of doing it. And now they announced that they're just going to stop doing them altogether. Something from 2016, which should be able to just stay in the game. It shouldn't be that much effort. You just plop a skin in and you just let people do it. It doesn't really matter how little amount of your mobile players do a weekly challenge. Just let people do weekly challenges. They were the only good content that kept me and others actually coming back to the game. And now it's gone. So there's very little reason to come back to the game at all. How come there isn't as much transparency between staff and the players anymore? To many players, it feels like there's no longer a sense of community. How come this is the case? Are resources being focused into bigger projects than before that aren't leaving time for communication or something else? And if it's different, what is it? Thanks. Again, if they were just open, they could tell us. But they're not very open, so they're probably not even going to answer his question. It's great that y'all are actually trying with rooms too. For me, it's a lot like the transition from CV1 to CV2 and how much that was hated. But it seems like y'all don't care about anything else the community is asking about. Prices have not been doing well. We don't have a new quest that we've been asking for over 5 years. Moderation is horrible, even in the creator community. And why is Crescendo not on Quest 2? Because if my bad PSVR can run Rec Room horribly and still have access to Crescendo, I don't get why Quest 2 doesn't have access to Crescendo when Quest runs much better. Quest 2 doesn't have the hardware needed to run Crescendo. Quest 3, however, does, and it has been talked about before. Nothing confirmed though. Crescendo should be on the Quest 2. They've talked so much about how we can't run it, and then we have stuff like Bone Lab on the Quest 2, Blade and Sorcery, Saints and Sinners, Chapter 1 and Chapter 2. We have Hubris VR, like an Unreal Engine 4 game, I'm pretty sure, and it's one of the most like visually stunning VR games. So we have a ridiculous amount of VR games that used to only run on PC VR that were ported to Quest with way more advanced physics, way more crazy graphical fidelity, and way bigger maps than Crescendo, yet they apparently can't do it. I think it's just a skill issue. Are you going to bring the community interaction that we used to have? Over time, we've been losing connection to the people making record. As things like community board, YouTube series, such Baker Pen build-offs, and recently the weeklies, they cut any connection we have to Rec Room itself, which leads to less feedback and more people leaving, myself included. So yeah, again, the community is not really the same that it used to be within Rec Room, and Rec Room hasn't been very good at keeping the community the same way it used to be. I think Rec Room needs to focus on being the game it used to be instead of what it is now. But yeah, it's pretty much the only AMA questions I wanted to go through for these AMA questions that people submit for Rec Room. But yeah, the community's outraged, rightfully so. And we'll have to see how Rec Room reacts to us. That's all I wanted to share. See you.